It's hard to believe, but this is the Simpson Desert.
It's incredibly exciting. I mean, it really defines our continent. We are the most arid inhabited continent in the world. And so when the water does come, it's incredibly productive. It just brings life. When you look at these systems, they're like tendrils across the landscape. And each one of those is running its own little ecosystem.
Life flourishing between the desert sand dunes where the water has been trapped north of Lake Eyre.
Surprising but also unique to see water still on the surface of the ground, and as I drive back, the wildflowers still flowering. So the country will keep this up for another month, I believe, yeah.
The wildflowers have taken hold in the cracking mud of the drying floodplains. The hardy seeds have been lying dormant in the arid soil for years, waiting for a chance to germinate.
There's this wonderful opportunity for a whole range of different plants and animals to come back, and you get this incredible display of colour. The land plants are starting to colonise back into the wetland system.
Environmental scientist Professor Richard Kingsford is documenting this rare outback event through the boom and now the bust.
You can see the cracks, they've all opened up now so that all of the animals that used to be in this system are now deep inside those cracks.
So how deep do these cracks become?
Well, what we're seeing here, I mean, you can poke your finger right down into these cracks, and you can imagine if we took one of these bits of dirt and put it into a little container of water, you'd have hundreds of small crustaceans and things hatching out of that.
Organisms that have been shown to survive for up to 300 years in the dirt of the floodplain. But that's just a blink of the eye in this ancient landscape.
It reminds me of my people used to live in this country. They depended so much on the good seasons, the boom and bust, but they depended on the good seasons to be able to use this desert to its full potential.
Don Rowlands is a traditional owner of the Simpson Desert, a descendant of the Aboriginal people who roamed this forbidding country. They handed down their beliefs about how the vast outback river systems were formed.
The rivers were made by the Great Serpent, and the Great Serpent carved his way through this country in the channels, made all the channels.
This channel snaking through the desert, the Warburton Creek, delivered most of the floodwaters to Lake Eyre. Water levels in the lake peaked 4 months ago. It's now so shallow that the shoreline moves with the wind.
Most of that water is not productive because the water's just dissolved the salt and it's very, very salty and nothing can live in it.
As the water drops, the wind scours a drying lake bed. Only a mob of wild camels to be seen, straying onto the muddy surface. The harsh outback climate is reasserting itself. This sudden dust storm whipped up from the Simpson Desert is indicative of the searing outback summer to come. By the time it's over, there'll be little, if any, water left in Lake Eyre.
The sediment has dried. Now we have this rich source of fresh material just waiting to be picked up and blown away.
Transported this week all the way to the Australian east coast and beyond, shrouding cities and towns in one of the biggest dust storms ever recorded. Millions of tonnes of material were swept up across a weather front that stretched from Sydney to the Gulf of Carpentaria. Summer will bring many more dust storms in Central Australia.
The winds blow and the dust blows and we get sandstorms through here, and these huge, very high temperatures absolutely bake the landscape.
Back in May, Professor Kingsford was encouraged to find this huge pelican breeding colony on a lake north of Birdsville, one of the biggest ever recorded in the region.
Oh, there's probably 40 to 60,000. It's very difficult to know because they're just so close together.
But disaster has now struck.
Clearly what's happened is that they've run out of food, which is fish, and most of these birds are now fully feathered, and you would have expected them to almost get away, but there's just been a crash in the fish populations, and it's gone into basically a bust for a lot of the pelicans at the tail end of the breeding event.
How many could have died here?
Oh, look, there's going to be in their thousands at least, I would imagine. Because there are very few adults here, they're mostly fully grown chicks, I think probably quite a few of these may die still because they just will not have enough food to take them through.
But tens of thousands of others that were hatched here have already spread wide over inland and coastal waterways in a timely explosion in numbers after years of drought.
And so a river system like this that's flowing and producing that boom in productivity allows many of those water birds that haven't bred for some time to be able to capitalise and start to breed and basically ensure we've at least got some individuals there for future generations.
The influx of bird life, the greening of the outback and the flow into Lake Eyre sparked a tourist boom in Central Australia. Still they come.
I don't know whether they're here because people haven't gone overseas, but certainly places like Birdsville and probably some of the surrounding towns, I think the figures are up 90%. We've nearly doubled the business in the year in all the sort of retail outlets. The visitations, certainly.
The rising popularity of outback travel was clearly evident when a near-record crowd poured into Birdsville for its famous race meeting, conducted on a dusty floodplains track just outside town.
Gates fly and the 2009 Cup Days underway. Away they go on the maiden and Lily Minnie Moo.
Many travellers included the Birdsville Cup in their outback adventures. Others just settled for the pub. The tiny town of just 100 people is still recovering from the invasion, but it's delighted by the sustained interest being shown in Central Australia. David Brooke is president of the Birdsville Race Club.
This time there's a lot more caravanners. They almost bring their houses with them, so in spite of the dirt and gravel roads, they're getting here in bigger numbers on the ground.
The caravan parks have been overwhelmed.
I've been operating caravan parks for 11 years within Western Queensland, and it's like a dream come true for us. It's been amazing. We'd like someone to fill Lake Eyre every year.
On average, the outback rivers reach Lake Eyre once every 10 years, but it's often much longer than that. Soon the water will have soaked in or evaporated, and Lake Eyre will again become a vast salt pan.
And all that will really be left in this river system in probably another 6 months or so is a string of water holes which retain water for the next flood, and some of the big lakes.
But the scientists, the tourists, and those who make their homes out here are left to marvel at nature's work in the outback.
Like here we are in September, the floods went through here in February, March. The verbine and the green stuff's still coming up. So it's a big rejuvenation of all the country, particularly the floodplains, and that's the part of the channel country that sustains it. It's so good. It's the best pasture in Australia, if not the world.
I think about it as, my backyard, my garden.
Not only do they have this incredible interplay of nature going on whenever there's a big flood, but really there are very few river systems in the world that haven't been dammed or water taken out of them. And so this is one of the great natural river systems of the world.